Welcome back to Soda City Live. As the saying goes, it takes a village to raise children. But that village isn't limited to just supporting parents, but the children as well. Sometimes there are other relatives that step up to the plate to help care for and raise the children of their kin or family friend, and it is through that community the children receive the support that they need. Kindred Hearts of South Carolina is a nonprofit that offers support to kinship caregivers, and this year they're going to be hosting their second annual Caregivers Gala to continue to back caregivers and their families, and the theme is just that: building communities on a strong foundation. Joining us today is CEO and co-founder of Kindred Hearts of South Carolina, Dr. Kim Janha, and board chair Alexis Scurry. Ladies, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having us here.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned in the introduction, family is not just limited to your blood. It is friends as well. It's for the support of these children. So I want us to start telling our viewers the background or the backstory of Kindred Hearts and why it was important for you to offer that type of support for kinship caregivers.
Sure. Kinship care, most recently being used by our social child welfare world, but it is an age-old concept. My older two brothers, one is now deceased, are actually my first cousins that my grandmother, paternal grandmother, actually raised. So it wasn't strange to me in 2003 when my nieces and nephews lost their mom in a car accident, and their maternal grandmother decided that she was going to raise them. She and I are from Marlborough County, but we both reside here in Columbia. So we weren't going to let her do it alone. And our family stepped in. So we realized, I've always known an active village, not just a village, but an active one. And so we became that for, and I mention her name all the time, Ms. Gilia Robinson Bazemore. She's the champion here. That's the foundation of Kindred Hearts. We know that it takes a village. And so we met many other kinship caregivers through my service as a volunteer for a federal mandated organization volunteer citizens review panel when we reviewed the policies and procedures of the Department of Social Services. And they were leaning on grandparents, aunties, uncles, other family members to step in whenever children were brought to the Department of Social Services for whatever reason. And so they stepped in and they did what they needed to do. But we saw that there was much need to handle the varied areas or levels of grief that both the caregiver and the children were experiencing. Financial support, just a community of other kinship caregivers to say, hey, you're not alone. That's what Kindred Hearts is, and we are privileged to serve those families.
And your story is so inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing. Absolutely beautiful. As you mentioned, this is an age-old tradition. People stepping in, stepping up, and not thinking second or twice about it, just doing what needs to be done, because that is what family does. And I think, there are some special situations where, children aren't able to stay within their families, but I think to have that peace, especially if you have lost a loved one, for them to have a way to continue to know who is in their family and what family means, and to have someone who understands, because as you mentioned, some situations they are all going through grief together, and some of these kinship caregivers never get that opportunity to properly grieve. I know from personal experience, you jump in, there's a job to do, and you just do it. And so I applaud you and your team for this wonderful organization. And Alexis, I want to talk with you a little bit as well. Let's talk about your story. What is your connection to kinship care, and why is it so important for you to be a part of this organization?
Sure. So growing up, my mother always had children at our house just hanging out. But there were times where I had a cousin who was actually in the military, and she was deployed. During that time, her mother needed someone to care for her daughter. I didn't know at the time that it was called kinship caregiving. I thought it was just a family member helping another family member. And Asia is her name. She lived with us for about 1.5 years. She attended the same elementary school that I attended. We would dress up like twins, and along with my sister as triplets. But it was fun to have a cousin who was also a sibling to a certain extent within the household. She was able to provide for her and just be that support that Asia needed her to be.
And I love the two perspectives that you have here. You have some that are out of necessity, and then you have some as in the family just stepping in for a temporary amount of time, but you still need support because you have, in your case, people still have their own kids to take care of, and now this is an additional mouth to feed. This is an additional person to provide for, and some people may not have the means to do so. So the work that you all are doing with Kindred Hearts of South Carolina is definitely important. And what would you say, Dr. John, to those who may not realize this is a resource, but now that they know, like, how do I get in touch with you? Because I need a village of my own.
Exactly. So we stand on that. Community is what works. And we do have our website, kindredheartssc.org. They can give us a call, email us. But what we want from the community is for you to allow us to help kinship caregivers reach you. And so we need you to build that. That's why we chose for our theme, build it on a strong foundation, because it is those persons, those organizations in the community that has Kindred Hearts where we are. And we need to move farther. So we need to understand and learn who you are so we can serve our caregivers collaboratively.
Well said. And this is year 2 for you all. So you got the first one out the way, and now this is a new year. What are you wanting to do this year and every year moving forward?
This year and every year moving forward, we always honor those vendors, those state organizations, those individuals who contribute to us and our works on a daily basis. This year, we're starting the Founders Award, and I am acknowledging Kayla Millette. I'm acknowledging Dr. Brooke Weimer and Ms. Lee Patterson. I say co-founder because it's those intellectuals who allowed, we got together and we came up with the program for Kindred Hearts. And from there, Kindred Hearts was founded. So we honor them and we honor others. So from this event on, we will continue to offer a Founders Award.
Absolutely beautiful. And we're looking at some pictures of past years that you all had on your Facebook page. I want to make sure we get the details, but Alexis, was there something you want to share as well?
Yes, I was going to say, in addition to honoring others, we would like for our sponsors and our vendors to provide us with donations. The community as well can provide us with donations to support kinship caregivers here in Richland County and South Carolina as a whole. And we would love for individuals to come out to participate in the gala. It is a great time. I tell everybody to join us, party for a cause. A lot of people like to party with no cause, but this is a great cause to party for. So we look forward to individuals joining us for the gala this year.
Absolutely. And I'll just throw this in there as we wrap up. I'm going to be there emceeing this year, so we're going to have a wonderful time. It's not going to be somber anything. It's going to be fun, loving, caring, and educational, and also recognizing those who have given selflessly and are continuing to support the children that need it the most. So thank you both so much for joining us. We'll have these details on our website, SodaCityLive.com. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more. We got a chance to check out the Greek Fest. We're going to share more with you on that, but next we're going to tell you some other amazing places you can check out in the Midlands for Soda City happenings. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more.